Hello, everyone. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. The sun always shines in Los Angeles, so most people get caught by surprise when it doesn't. Now that we're entering the wettest months of the year, the Los Angeles Fire Department wanted to share some safety tips to help you protect your home, belongings, loved ones, and yourself during these rainy days.
When it rains in Southern California, your Los Angeles City Fire Department encourages people to take a few simple steps to make sure that they are not injured and to prepare their property for the rain. When the rain comes down, it quickly fills these low-lying areas, and it just takes 6 inches of water to sweep someone off their feet. We have a saying, when thunder roars, go indoors. When you're looking at your vehicle, make sure that your windshield wipers function appropriately, that your headlights are working, and that the tires are inflated and you have good tread depth for the potential of hydroplaning. We also see individuals that are driving through areas and they get caught in the water. Drowning is the leading cause of flood deaths. So never drive through water where you can't see the pavement below. And if you actually are stranded, and the water's rising, go ahead and get onto the top of your car or your hood. Of course, call 911. And if you have to drive in the rain, the number one thing is to slow down. When it rains, it's not uncommon to have some problems with power lines that can go down. Remember that those are potentially deadly. They could also land in puddles of water that will conduct that electricity farther away than the actual wire itself, or it could land even on chain link fences and things that can also conduct that electricity. We also see some well-intentioned individuals that might see an animal in the LA River and they're concerned for its safety. So are we. If there's a human life or an animal life, you can contact 911 if their life is in peril, of course. Don't jump in after them. That's where we get those would-be rescuers that become victims themselves. Again, they're well-intentioned and we get it, but they get swept away. Now we have 2 lives to worry about. Just like a wildfire or an earthquake, it's important to have your ready, set, go kit also for disasters like mud flows or debris flows from storms. So you want to gather the medications that you might need, important documents, have a fully charged cell phone. Think of your pets. Think of also your family members who might be in more of a need due to access or functional needs. And that way you're prepared ahead of time. It's also important to look around your home and make sure the water flows out of it as it's intended. So make sure that your drains in the ground, your rain gutters are all clear from any debris so that way the water can safely move out. And then you can look at your actual home, your windows, your attics. Make sure that there's no cracks or leaks. All 106 neighborhood fire stations of the Los Angeles City Fire Department have sandbags for you as needed, up to 25. And there are select stations that actually have sand out front as well. Now, we're not going to be able to fill your bags and deliver them or take them away, but those are available for you, and you can get a full list of those locations at lafd.org.
There are many famous residents in our city, including P22. The famous mountain lion left a hole in the heart of our city when he passed away. Those who followed the whereabouts of LA's cat had the chance to remember him by leaving a note on a tribute wall the LA Zoo set up in collaboration with council member Nithya Raman.
We had an immense outpouring of sadness and grief when we all learned about the loss of P22. And our council office really wanted to find a way to channel some of that grief and to be able to make sure that people could provide their feedback, their feelings, their input into what P22 meant to them. And that's what this memorial wall is really about.
We are really lucky to have partnered with Council District 4 in creating a memorial to our very special mountain lion, P22. There's a lot of meaning in writing a message and expressing loss. It happens with animals too. He was nobody's pet, but he was LA's cat. And this is the space that we created so people can come and express that.
He's not only just a wild animal, but he's still part of the community. I think a lot of people forget about that. They don't forget about, like, it's not just the hustle and bustle of just Los Angeles or the park, but it's also about the wildlife that's still here.
When we start to learn about the way that P-22 died, we can acknowledge how human life impacts wildlife in the Los Angeles area and how we can make changes to be more aware of how we interact with these animals and to prevent another death like P-22.
His presence in our backyard, his life in Griffith Park, I think spurred people to think about the importance of protecting nature and protecting wilderness. And the fact that he was there enabled us to think about making bigger investments in things like wildlife crossings that can prevent the extinction of animals like P-22, and in creating better planning that can allow nature to thrive even as Angelinos continue to live amidst it.
I think it's great that this is here. I'm gonna miss seeing him on the Nextdoor app when people caught him in their house cameras, walking through the neighborhoods. Such an amazing animal. I think LA was blessed to have him here while we did.
I have two little kids. They're 7 years old, 7-year-old twins. This is one of them. Can you say hi? And even for young people like my daughter, P-22 meant so much to them. And I think this is a real moment to cultivate love of nature and love of environment amongst all of our young people here in the city.
Who says kids can't have fun while learning? At the Mar Vista Recreation Center, kids from ages 5 to 13 can play, socialize, and experience a varied list of activities and sports offered in the center's winter programs. Check it out.
Right now we're at beautiful Mar Vista Recreation Center, located on the west side of LA. Right now we have winter camp. It goes from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. for kids ages 5 up to age 13.
We do sports, cooking, we do baking, we do all kinds of activities.
The kids come early. Matter of fact, they're waiting at the door before we get here.
Summer, they get to go to the aquatic area, which they have a pool. We do water play, we do art, and also we go to various field trips too.
Everyone here is very enthusiastic about being here at the park.
It's like, I don't get to do this at home. You know, I like doing a mess, you know, and so when they do the mixing or when we do science and, you know, we put our goggles and we explode things and do, you know, all kinds of little makeshift things, you know, they are enjoying themselves. You know, some parents go to work and, you know, instead of leaving children at home, you know, bring them here. They'll have fun.
If you want to find out more about the complete programs of this and other recreational centers in Los Angeles, you can visit laparks.org. Every January the 6th, many Hispanic communities around the world celebrate El Día de los Reyes. This day symbolizes the time when the three kings brought gifts to baby Jesus in Bethlehem. Every year on Olvera Street in Los Angeles, people gather to recreate the king's journey and arrival, starting at the Casa Avila and enjoying a delicious Rosca de Reyes.
Since the formation of Olvera Street in 1930, Three Kings Day has been celebrated, otherwise known also as Dia de los Reyes. It's an important event during the holidays. For most of our English-speaking community, you know, the holidays tend to end at Christmas, but for most of us, the holidays go all the way to January 6th. This is a day for families to gather. This is also a day traditionally in Latin America and in Spain where you do receive gifts, where children especially expect to get gifts from the Three Kings. Similarly, our merchants have a procession that goes down Olvera Street where you get to see the Three Kings. And it's also a really great tradition in which we gather to share the Rosca de Reyes.
What I have in front of us is what's called the Rosca de Reyes. Traditionally, everybody has a little baby inside of the Rosca. We put 10 babies in there, and then anybody that gets a little baby, we give them a little gift. So they come back next year. The Day of the Kings came about, it was a Roman blending of Epiphany. So it ended up having a celebration on the Day of the Kings where they came and they gave something to the baby Jesus, the traditional gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So the rosca now represents that giving of something to the family when you have a Day of the King celebration. We've been doing Las Posadas, which is the journey of Mary and Joseph, since the 1930s. So this came about probably just a little bit after that because it's part of the entire tradition and culture that goes behind that.
That's fabulous. It's a belief, it's a tradition, it's a love, it's a community, and it's color. The colors are fabulous.
Now, this is a free event. We're really happy to have these events here again in light of the pandemic that did a lot of hurt to our communities and not being able to publicly gather. So we're really happy to be celebrating here in 2023.
The city's emergency management department shares guidelines in case of a disaster. The LA Sanitation Department will collect donated clothes, and the city will receive grants for active transportation projects. All these stories up next on City Beat.
The City of LA's Emergency Management Department, EMD, wants to help Angelenos get disaster ready in 2023. Be ready at all levels, personally, at home with family, at work, and with your neighbors. EMD has put together easy steps to help you plan for the unexpected. From creating an emergency plan for your family to signing up for area alerts, the City of LA has mapped out easy steps to plan ahead. For more information, visit emergency.lacity.org. The Los Angeles Sanitation and Environment Department, LA San, will be collecting new and gently used men's, women's, and children's clothing. Donated clothing will be provided to St. Francis Center as well as LA San's Livability Services Division to help Angelenos in need. Sweaters, jackets, shirts, pants, and socks are needed and should be washed and cleaned. Donations can be dropped off at select locations Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Log on to lacitysan.org for drop-off locations. The City of Los Angeles will receive over $200 million in active transportation program grants following a vote by the California Transportation Commission. The ATP Grants Fund transformative transportation projects encourage transportation through active modes such as walking, biking, and taking transit by making streets safer and more accessible to people traveling by these means. The mission of the grants program is to build a city that has safe, affordable, and sustainable transportation options for all residents in all neighborhoods. By creating access to mobility, opportunities are created by making communities safer, greener, and more connected. Go to ladot.lacity.org/DOT News.
Many times, it takes very little to make a big contribution to society. And one of the easiest ways to save lives is by donating blood. The Battle of the Badges Blood Drive is a friendly competition where first responders in our county donate blood. There is always a high demand for blood transfusions, and initiatives like this help our community tremendously.
Today we announce Battle of the Badge. It's a friendly competition among first responders in LA County to donate blood. This is so important because especially now, in the winter months, it's difficult to collect blood across the country due to winter storms and illnesses.
By donating blood is the easiest way for anyone to save a life. It's the easiest way for you to give back to your community, and it's something that I hope that this annual event brings attention to.
The Battle of the Badge ends on March 31st, and our goal is to collect 3,000 pints of blood.
We go out each day and we see the tragedies that befall people, innocent individuals that are going about their day, and suddenly now they're one of the Americans that each day, every 2 seconds, becomes an individual in need of blood or blood platelets. What that means is every day 29,000 units of blood are needed to support such victims.
It takes a village, as we know, and as first responders, we were reminded each and every day of how critical it is to participate in events like this. Every single day, that need for blood is there. This is an opportunity, incredible opportunity for everybody to step up and serve others in need.
Every new year starts with new resolutions and goals that we set out to achieve in the next 12 months. Channel 35 had the chance to talk with one of our newest council members, Eunices Hernandez from CD1, to find out what her focus will be during 2023 and how she plans to serve her constituents. Check it out.
Hola, mi nombre es Eunices Hernández. Soy el nuevo miembro representando el primer distrito en el Consejo Municipal de Los Ángeles y tenemos mucha emoción estar con ustedes para poder traerles los servicios que ustedes necesitan. Now that I'm a council member, I feel like a heavy sense of responsibility. You know, I don't take this role lightly, and I know that a lot of people are counting on us to do a good job. My family has been really supportive throughout this process. They were the people that I thought about before anything, before even deciding to run, because I wanted to make sure that they were protected, because they're my everything. My mom is very proud. She is from Mexico. My brother, my younger brother, is an engineer, and you know, I just am grateful that they've stood with me, even though things have gotten a little bit intense, and I just hope I don't let them down either. I'm hoping that, you know, when we're in 2024 and we look back onto this year, that we've accomplished a few things. One of them is that we have a team that's representative of our values, of the district, of the work that we want to do, fighting with and for the community of CD1. The issues at hand right now that are most important are making sure that we don't add more people to the people experiencing homelessness. We have 41,000 people on our streets right now. We can add more people, and so we need to establish protections for tenants, protections for renters. We need to deal with these crises of people experiencing overdoses on our streets. How can we begin to implement harm reduction programs, naloxone, and saturate the streets with these things? Another big piece is economic development. How do we support our communities by creating more opportunities for people to make intergenerational wealth? Especially, how do we bring in our migrant communities, for example, street vendors, to be a part of the legal economic market? These are the things that we're thinking about, that we know that we need to deal with immediately, but also long-term to create intergenerational resources for our communities. What I'm learning and what my team is learning is that solutions haven't been implemented because they're impossible or they're too expensive. A lot of things haven't happened because simply the work hasn't been done to make it happen. And so dealing with the homelessness crisis, dealing with overdoses, dealing with keeping our community safe, all of those things we can do both through the legislative process, but it's also what we're doing on the ground, which is connecting with community, having meetings, having town halls to hear what's happening on the community. One of the things that people I hope see from our office is that we are solutions oriented. And I hope that that's the same way that they come to us. They're living with these issues every single day. They probably have solutions locally that could benefit them and deal with the crisis at hand. So we want to open the door for people to be able to come to us with their ideas so that we can start dealing with these issues in ways that will benefit them more.
Did you know that the longest running exhibition in Los Angeles is centered around dolls? The 42nd annual Black Doll Show, whose theme is fun and games, is a unique gateway into an important part of our country's history. Some of these dolls are 100 years old, and their significance and relevance goes way beyond what meets the eye.
You are at the 42nd Annual Black Doll Show. This is the longest running exhibition in the city of Los Angeles, and it is one of the best art exhibitions as far as I'm concerned, and I've been here for 17 years. It was founded many, many years ago under the directorship of Hakim Ali and the curator Cecil Ferguson and his wife Miriam. And they were watching Art Linkletter, and they happened to see the Black Doll test on Art Linkletter. They were so distraught that they invited a group of friends that they were working with at the time, who mostly became important artists in the California Assemblage movement, and asked them to make dolls. What I'm standing in front of right now is a brand new acquisition that we got. These are very, very vintage dolls. We have some dolls that are over 100 years old. In this country, black dolls were illegal in a sense, where people would get punished for actually carrying black dolls.
I grew up with having white dolls mostly. There weren't a lot of black dolls available. We've come a ways. There are beautiful black doll makers, manufacturers, artists.
I started at 7. When I was a brownie, we had to make a brownie doll. And so my mother used to make all our clothes, so she taught me how to make a doll. And from then, I just, I couldn't stop. I don't name them because when I sell them, it makes me feel like I'm giving away my children.
It's a theme this year is fun and games.
When we said fun and games, we really wanted it to be about how games and interaction in play is a way of archiving our times.
My work is mixed media, and I incorporated the toys with the dolls because that was a theme for this year. So a lot of my work has a lot of little toys with them.
To come into a space in a community and walk around and see all the different types of black dolls, the different hues, the different backgrounds, it's an eye-opening experience for many.
I feel like people will walk away with their own feelings, whatever feeling that is. And some of it might be spiritual, and some of it might be inspiration to create more. And some of it might be an inspiration to continue this legacy that is very important. It's 42 years that a community came together to make sure this exhibition happened. So something's important about that.
We all are one. We're just different colors.
In last week's feature story, we took a look at some of the highlights of 2022, including the election of the first female mayor in Los Angeles. In this week's feature story, we look back at some of the notable guests we've had the pleasure to interview and learn about at our show, LA Currents. Let's take a look.
Six months is not a long period of time to go from one very important position to another. What are some of the things that are immediately going to be sitting on your desk?
The important piece is that, first and foremost, the community knows that we're ready and able to serve them. So the staffing issue is really going to be one of my #1 priorities, to make sure that the LAFD remains ready to respond to any 911 call.
Where do your hopes and dreams lie?
My hopes and dreams lie in changing the narrative. I want people to feel confident that they've seen success. They've seen success in one person who they used to see outside of their grocery store every week, who moved into interim housing, moved into their own home.
How does policing and what you're doing, how does it diffuse racial tensions?
One of the reasons why this program was so important and placed in some of our most vulnerable communities was because of a lack of trust and the tension between law enforcement and the community. And when the officers set out understanding that they weren't going into these communities to suppress it, but they were actually going into these communities to understand it and make a change and work together, that diffuses that tension and that allows a window for us to come together to make change in the community.
In terms of the people at the mission, I talk to so many people, and people don't want those services in their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So how do you balance the needs of the unhoused with residents, the renters, the homeowners?
We believe in decentralizing, so we were successfully able to overcome neighborhood opposition. Let me just put it that way. We finally overcame and we moved into Hope Gardens, transitional housing for single moms with kids, and senior housing, permanent supportive housing for seniors. And the neighbors now love us. One neighbor went from saying we were going to be a human trash heap to now coming to tears and saying, if those moms and kids weren't here, I don't know where they would be. So total heart change by the neighborhood.
What prompted the need for a foundation?
The foundation is about opening doors. It's about access and opportunity. It's about using this big brand that is the Dodgers to amplify the voices of those who are living in underserved communities. We do the work through a social justice lens because we know that there are individuals in the Los Angeles community who are living in the shadows of Dodger Stadium, meaning that they aren't frequent visitors, but they may be fans, and we want to take responsibility for caring about them and their needs as well.
How does the commission work with the Department of Public Works?
We are responsible for helping to deliver the infrastructure services for the city of Los Angeles, and that means contract administration, it means sanitation, it means street lighting, it means street services, and finally it means engineering. I always find in my work something that I love about it, and what I love about being in public works is working in contract administration. I look at not only our challenges, our weaknesses, I look at our strengths. And we have many strengths. Our strength is our people, who are our resources. Our challenge is to include those people.
Welcome the Lunar New Year at the Port of Los Angeles. Discover the delicious evolution of cacao at La Plaza Cocina, or enter your short film in the Teens of LA Film Fest. All this up next on Things to Do.
Usher in the Year of the Rabbit at the 9th Annual Lunar New Year Festival hosted by the Port of Los Angeles. Lunar New Year is a cultural celebration marking the beginning of the calendar year based on the cycles of the moon. The festival will offer lots of entertainment for all ages, including traditional lion dancers, crafts, delicious food, and a can't-miss festival finale. Bring the entire family to the 2023 Port of Los Angeles Lunar New Year Festival, Saturday, January 21st from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Admission is free at the Cabrillo Way Marina on 2293 Minor Street in San Pedro. Log on to culturala.org/event for more information. No surprise, one of the most popular foods in the world is chocolate. To honor that, La Plaza Cocina's newest exhibition, The Legacy of Cacao, focuses on the evolution of the sweet treat from its first reference more than 2,000 years ago to present day. La Cocina is the first museum dedicated to the dark liquid. You'll learn all about one of Mesoamerica's most sacred natural staples, a food prized around the world for its taste and seductive effects. Learn how the sacred connotations of the original pre-Hispanic beverage remain alive in contemporary Mexico. For more information, hop on laplazacocina.org. The exhibition remains open to the public through April 30th at 501 North Main Street in Los Angeles. Calling all future Spielbergs out there. Submit your short film for a chance to be entered into the Teens of LA Film Fest. To qualify, you must be 19 years of age or younger. Submissions are free and must be received by January 31st. They are accepting films in the categories of book trailer, documentary short, experimental short, live action short, micro short, and PSA. For more information about contest rules, go to lapl.org/teen-film-festival.com. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacitywiew.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.